Now I'm going to start the 10 seconds and I'm going to play the correct opening this time. All right, you guys are ready, correct?
Yep.
In 3, 2.
Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
All right, let's go ahead and kick off a Wednesday episode of Student of the Gun Radio. Thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm your host, Paul Markle. And joining me in the studio, in the Silencer Shop studio high atop the mountain in Saratoga, Wyoming, is Zachary the Shipping Ogre.
Hello there, everybody. How are you doing today? Good.
And joining us live via satellite is Jared.
Hey guys, I'm here in Salt Lake City at Black Rifle Coffee Company. We got Ready Man here. We got Savage Showman here. Now, I can't say this because we're on the public episode. I was going to give the discount code for Black Rifle, but that's for members only. So,
yeah, you gotta.
Yep, can't do that. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah, well,
I'll type it in.
Grad program member, and you get a Black Rifle discount code.
Yeah.
Cool.
A free book and Black Rifle discount. So I'm going to type it into the Discord right now, so those of you that are listening live can see it. There's the discount code for you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Before we get into this, last week during a Cigar Time Live on Facebook, I threw this out there. People have been asking when we're going to have training again here in Wyoming, and I'll shoot it to you guys straight. The reason that we didn't schedule any training this summer was because of a lodging issue. And last year we had 2 lodges to work with. 2 lodges on the ranch, and it worked out really, really well. Well, things have changed on the ranch, and they're going to tear down Lodge A and replace it with a newer, more modern, larger facility. Well, that hasn't been completed yet because, well, that's just the way things are. I mean, if you guys have ever been involved in a home building project or a construction project, you know that things don't always go as planned, right? What does Dan say? Man plans and God laughs, or what have you.
Yeah.
So we didn't host classes out here because we didn't have a good lodge for people to stay in. Now, we did discover something recently. There is a piece of property, or there is an area on the ranch that's it's like a little cove. It doesn't look like ranch. It's not scrub, and it's not cattle fields and so forth. It's like a little valley by the river cove area, and it would be perfect for tent camping. But what we need to do, and what we wanted to do, is to throw this out there. Like, would any of you who are wanting to come out and take the training, specifically the Patriot Fire Team training, would you be willing to stay in tents while you're doing it? You'd be willing to, and we're talking, and this would be like actual tent camping, like real tents, porta potties. You bring water in jugs and so forth. No cooks, no maids. Would you be willing to do that? Now, Jared, what method do you want them to use for their response? Because if the answer is no, then we don't really need to hear from you. This is not an either or question. It's like, would you rather stay here or stay here? What method, what direction?
Yes, shoot me an email, Jared, JARRAD at studentofthegun.com. Hopefully my email inbox doesn't get piled on, but yeah.
Well, just put tent camping, or put tents or something, tent in the subject bar. If you would be willing And when I say refueling, I'm like serious. None of this, well, maybe, I don't know if certain, if you give me a cookie and a pillow and something. No, seriously. I'm talking about no kidding, coming out and doing some real serious training, but and it's not that hot here, even in the summertime. I mean, yeah, it gets warm, but there's no humidity. It's not like camping in Florida or Tennessee or Kentucky or anywhere. I mean, the humidity is pretty mild here.
Yeah.
When the sun goes down, it gets cool. You'll need a sleeping bag.
And with the Patriot Fire Team, I think that is, it's the kind of like things work out the way they're supposed to work out,
They're really the way to go anyway.
Yeah, that's really the way to go for Patriot Fire Team training, because the whole concept is based upon how to bring your community together after a natural disaster or man-made disaster. Then camping out in tents is what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, or what to do. Basically, if there's a post Katrina, post Sandy, whatever kind of a situation, you're not going to have a maid and a cook. This is what to do when you don't have comfort and convenience. When your comfort and convenience has been removed. So, if you are a serious person and you would be interested in that, just email jared@studentofthegun.com and put the word tent or tent camping, just tent in the bar.
Yeah. If you're listening live on Discord right now, just type yes or no into the live stream comments section.
Okay. All right. Now that we've got that knocked out, let's go ahead and progress with our Brownell's Bullet Points Guns and Gear segment. We do it every single Wednesday. Thanks to our good friends at Brownell's. All right. We had a question come up recently about law enforcement trade-in Glocks. And it doesn't just have to be Glocks. It can be the Smith & Wesson M&Ps or SIGs or whatever. There were a lot of trade-in Berettas about 10 years ago. Beretta convinced law enforcement agencies in America during the late 90s, early 2000s. They convinced them to buy Beretta 96 pistols as cop guns. Oh my gosh. Talk about that went over like a fart in church. And I remember walking into my local gun shop and seeing these police trade-in Beretta 96s. You're probably like, 96? Was that even a thing? Yeah, it was for a little while, for a very short amount of time. Beretta lost their minds and they made a 40 caliber pistol, and it was, like I said, it was about as popular as Jock Itch. But somebody asked me, or they brought up the other day, they said, man, I'm seeing these law enforcement trading Glocks, and it's not just 40s. Now they're seeing other things. The 357 SIG are showing up, not just the Glocks, but the M&Ps, M&P 357s, M&P 40s, and now coming to a surplus area near you or trade in the 45 gap. The 45 gap basically was a cartridge that was designed and developed so that the word Glock would be attached to a cartridge name. And they did it because Glock, or gap, stands for Glock automatic pistol. And they thought 10 years ago, maybe a little more, the thinking was, well, Americans like 45s. We can sell Americans anything that has a 45 in front of it, right? But let's make a short 45, a short fat 45 that we can put in a 9mm frame. Yeah, it really didn't work. If anybody wants or needs some 45 gap ammo, I think I've got a few hundred rounds in a can somewhere. So let me know. I farted around with the 45 gap just a little bit, and out of the Glock 2319 size gun, pretty severe recoil. Pretty hard, snappy recoil from the little guns. The compact guns, Not at all fun to shoot at all. I know you're like, well, shooting's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a serious endeavor. Okay, whatever. And the one that I had was also prone to stoppages too. So not a good thing. The question is, and this is the big question for you. For instance, sport. So the reason I know the Sportsman's Guide has 45 Gen 3 45 gap law enforcement trade-in pistols on their website that you can get for if you're a buyer's club member, you can get it for $250, and if you're a non-member, you can get it for $270. And so you say to yourself, rock on, I'm going to buy one. Just hold on a second. A, can you find the ammo? B, do you want to pay for the ammo? I'm gonna look for Glock. I'm gonna look for 45 gap ammo right now. 45 GAP ammo. All right, here we go. 45 gap ammunition is available from Spear Lawman. $30 for 50 rounds. Ouch. That's for a full metal jacket thing. You want to hear something really silly, Zach or Jared? Anybody?
I'm listening.
Okay. They
My
have
mic's unmuted.
conversion barrels, so you can convert your 45 gap to a 40 Smith & Wesson.
Ha.
I don't want to do that. That's the opposite of what I want to do. Here we go. MagTech has full metal jacket ball ammo, $25 for Buyers Club members, $27 for non-members. And then we have another 185 grain total metal jacket, $31 for members, $34 for non-members. 64 cents a round is what it is. So how many of you guys are going to run out and buy a surplus or a police trade-in 45 gap and then pay 65 cents a round to shoot it? You say you're not. You say that's something you don't want to do. What? And then they're like, oh, we got the solution for you. You can convert it to a 40. That's not exactly what I want to do. So the big question for all of you guys out there who have been looking at these police trade-in guns is, does someone have a 9mm conversion barrel? If you can convert it to 9, drive on, my brothers. And you can do that with these police trade-ins, the 40s, the 357s, and the gaps. For instance, I have in my possession an M&P 357 that I got a conversion barrel for, and now it shoots 9, and it's fantastic, right? Because reasons. And I was talking last night or a couple nights ago, whatever, when I was on the Cigar Time Live, and people were asking me about pistol cartridges and what I thought. And my feelings are these: by the year 2020, all of these boutique pistol cartridges will have gone by the wayside. They will become novelties. 357 SIG, 45 gap, and yes, even the 40. I know some of you guys, shut up about my 40. I like my 40. I don't care if you like your 40 or not. But here's the reality of the world. Law enforcement agencies nationwide are converting to 9mm pistols across the board. FBI rolled the dice and said, yep, we're going back to 9s. Forget all that other crap. And in our industry right now, sales are down. Okay. Actually, sales have leveled off. They're not the crazy roller coaster stuff that we had during the Comrade Barry administration. They're basically even now. Firearms manufacturers are not going to build guns that they don't think that they can sell, or they don't know for a fact that they're going to be able to sell. There's not going to be any more of the speculation. Hey, let's come up with a cartridge and see if people want it. Because that's money. That's investment. That, you know, they cannot afford, whether it's Smith or Glock or, you know, you fill in the blank here. They cannot afford to make guns and stick them on shelves and hope that somebody eventually will buy them. They can't do it. They can't tie the revenue up. They can't tie the, you know, that up when they can be making stuff that they know people are going to buy. So by the year 2020, we're going to be back to two main choices for duty guns, 9s and 45s, 45 ACP or 9mm. Most of the other stuff is going to be relegated to unique, or, you know, it's going to be a novelty. You know, the 357 SIGs and the 9x21 and the 9x23, all that stuff. I mean, you're always going to pocket 380s because Americans like to carry small guns to make themselves feel good. But as far as standard duty guns, you're either going to have 45s or 9s. All the other stuff's going to be gone. It's going to be relegated to obscurity. 45 GAP's dead. 37 SIG is dead. 40 is essentially dead. It just doesn't know it yet. And something else that I thought I would talk about during the well, it's Brownell's bullet points, guns and gear, is cartridges and what are manufacturers focusing on. In our modern era right now, manufacturers are focusing way more time and effort and R&D on rifle cartridges than they are on pistol cartridges. Look at the success of the 6.5 Creedmoor. And you know what, Jared? I might have to stick my toe in the water and get a Creedmoor. I might have to do it because Matt was out here with his Savage Creedmoor, and
Oh yeah.
he was once he doped the wind, once he figured out where the wind was, he was banging the 1,000-yard target like nobody's business.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And you know what's funny? I was calling for him. I was spotting for him, and it was dark. Well, it was the other night, and it was getting dark, and it was a little bit hazy, and I was having a hard time. I didn't have strong enough optic to pick up the actual hit. I could hear it. Even at 1,000 yards, I could hear that bullet striking the plate. So what I would do, I was standing next to him, and he wasn't shooting suppressed, and I had headphones on. So he would fire, and the millisecond he would fire the cartridge, I watched the muzzle, and as soon as I saw the flash, I pulled one of the earmuff sides off, and I listened, and I could hear the ding or nothing, and then I would just say, "You missed," or whatever. I couldn't really call the shots because the ground was damp, and there was no dust kicking up. But I started counting, and from the time he pressed the shot to the time the bullet impacted, and not just when the bullet impacted, but when the noise made it all the way back 1,000 yards to my ears, it was 3 seconds. So he'd fire, boom, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, ding.
I felt that on the video.
Yeah, it's kind of unique, you know, it's kind of cool. But anyway, I might have to check out and try out one of the Creedmoors. Like I need a new rifle cartridge, like I need a hole in my head, but still. I just want to mention that, during the Brownell's bullet points, is that right now in our modern era, the firearms manufacturers are spending way more time working on rifle cartridges than pistol cartridges because, well, 100,000, 200,000 Americans ran out and bought handguns in the last 5 years, and 250,000 or whatever. And now they've got their guns, and now the sales have gone, they flatlined. So there's that. All right, let's talk about our good friends at Frog Lube. It's green, it's minty fresh. It is a bio-based firearms lubricant, and it is made in the USA. It's a U.S. veteran-owned company. And you can get Frog Lube from them or from Brownells or anywhere you get lubricant products. And if they don't have it at your local gun shop, ask them why. Say, hey, if you had that, I would buy it today. But since you don't, I won't. And when you do buy your Frog Lube and you do it for the first time, read the directions. What? Yeah. I know what I'm doing. Read the directions. Okay. Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in the U.S. of A. Century Arms makes the C39 V2, the rifles and the pistols. And they even have one with a it's KAK, right? The shockwave blade. Is it called the shockwave? The blade? KAK shockwave blade.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know. There's so many shockwave things out there now, but the blade brace, it looks pretty slick. And they have, of course, the entire Canic line of pistols and the NAC 9. NAC 9. You can get all that from Century Arms at centuryarms.com. Duracoat, why? Because life is too short to have an ugly gun or an ugly can. If you want to participate in the Sexy Can contest, that's fantastic. Do it. Go to DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com, pick up some Duracoat, and when you're done, read the directions. I'm not going to go through the whole thing today because we just said Monday. But when you're done, take pictures of your Sexy Can and make sure that you hashtag it Sexy Can Contest.
Yeah. And if you want more rules and details, you can go to studentofthegun.com/sexycancontest.
/Sexy Can Contest. SWAT Fuel. SWAT Fuel wants you to have a stronger body and a sharper mind today. Now, get to it. They can help you, and you can save some money because you're a listener to Student of the Gun by using the promo code SOTG. Go to SWATfuel.com, order whatever it is you're going to order, the SWAT box, which is probably a good one, and use the promo code SOTG. All right. As we move on and progress, we talked about the Sexy Can contest, and I hope to see some pictures popping up real soon from you freaks and freakettes out there. Get on it. We've got good stuff to give away. Let's go ahead and move on to our weekly Student of the Gun homeroom, brought to you by our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. All right, cats and kittens and freaks out there in the Student of the Gun listening audience. Let's talk about emergency supplies and the ARC bag. But before I do that, if you want to save some money at crossbreedholsters.com, we're all about saving you the money here. Have you guys noticed that? It's almost like it pays to be a Student of the Gun listener. Interesting. Go to crossbreedholsters.com, and when you check out, use the promo code SOTG18. SOTG18. You can save yourself some money. All right. In addition to belts and holsters and the Ojai gun pockets and other stuff, Crossbreed has a product that's called the ARC bag. It's basically a foil-looking bag that is rust and corrosion resistant, that is electronic static resistant, like a Faraday cage. And you can store all of your goodies in there and not have to worry about opening it up and finding them all rusty and nasty and ruined, right? So what I did recently, I did a video, and it was very, very difficult because Facebook Live kept cutting out. But I put together an emergency supplies kit. And for some reason, well, I know what that reason is, because Americans don't listen or read beyond the title, and then they make stupid comments based upon the title of things. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into it just a little bit deeper. What do we always talk about when it comes to being dangerous on demand here? There's 4 categories, right? And those are lethal, sharp, bright, and medical, right? You should always, every time you leave your house, every time you get up and walk out your front door, get in a car, I don't care if you're going to buy milk or you're running to the gas station for a newspaper, which no one does anymore, you should have 4 things on you, 4 categories of things: lethal, sharp, bright, and medical. Now, what if there is a environmental disaster, whether it's a local disaster, a regional disaster, whatever, or a man-made disaster, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's convenience and comfort are out the window, at least for a while, because of something. And what do we know? What happens in every major metropolitan area when the bad people realize that the police aren't coming? As soon as the local thug element realizes that 911's not working and that the police are not coming, it's game on, right? Yep, exactly. So you can't do it all yourself. That's part of the Patriot Fire Team, and you can't do it, and you shouldn't even try to do everything yourself. Men try to do this all the time. They try and like take the entire burden, all the burdens of the world on their own shoulders, and it crushes them. It's better. You're way better off having two people than one. But what if the person that shows up and you say, "Hey, you're my buddy, you're my pal, I trust you, I know," or it's your spouse or whatever, they show up, but they don't have stuff. They, for whatever reason, they don't have the stuff, the four categories. We need to give it to them, right? Well, one of the best ways to do that is to pre-stage it so you can just hand them a bag rather than like rooting through stuff and saying, "I'm sure I got a clip here and a mag here and I got this and that." No, put everything in a bag. So what I did is I took an ARC bag, and they come with the desiccant packs and the oxygen remover and stuff so you can seal them up and there'll be no moisture inside of it and all that. And what did I put in there? Well, I put a High Point C9. They're like, "A High Point? Oh my God. Oh." Shut up for 5 seconds. They work. I don't care if they're ugly. I don't care if you don't like the way they look. They work. You load them, you pull the slide back, you press the trigger, and they go pow, 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 pow until they're empty. And then you rinse, lather, repeat, and they keep doing it. Now, the reason that you don't stick your Kimber with Hydroshocks in the ARC bag and store it in a pack or what have you is because what you'll do is you'll go and you'll get it out. You'll be like, "Oh man, I really want to shoot that gun. I want to show people. I want to, when people come over for barbecues, I want to pull it out and show them so they can see how cool I am." You take the C9, as ugly as it is, it works. It's a lethal force instrument. You put it in the ARC bag with a knife, a flashlight, and what I did is I dropped in a student kit, a trauma kit, a pocket lifesaver. Put it all in there, put it in the ARC bag, sealed it up, put it into an emergency backpack that has some food and water and crap like that in it. So at very least, if I had a fellow good guy, or maybe me, but somebody that I knew I could trust and I needed to arm them and I needed to do it immediately, I could just hand them the bag and say, "Here, open this." And what am I going to know? That everything inside is going to be rust free and it'll be in essentially the same condition that it was in when I put it in storage. And that's important for the medical kits too, because the medical kits, you want to keep them out of heat and you want to keep them away from moisture. Now they are sealed, but the fact is, if you put them somewhere where they're in sunlight or where the heat is constantly on them, the heat is going to affect them negatively. It's going to affect everything negatively. If things go through constant temperature changes, humidity, sunlight, and so forth. How do we keep everything free from, or reduce the aging of everything? Keep it out of direct sunlight and keep it away from moisture, right? Super simple. So that's what I did. I put a High Point C9 with, extra magazine, full magazine, spare magazine, so that, at very least they'll have 2 magazines to start with. And yes, I did put a crossbreed holster in there, and then you're like, "Hold on, Paul. There's no C9 in the catalog for crossbreed." Right, there isn't. But here's what I did. I took one of their freedom carry holsters, and the cool thing, and this is me being me. The cool thing about Kydex is if you take a really good hair dryer, a hot hair dryer, put gloves on, you can actually heat up the Kydex and take your thumbs and ever so gently mold the Kydex. Now you're not going to this is not a complete remolding process. You're just adjusting it ever so slightly. So yes, I did that because I'm that guy. And so when I give this person this ARC bag, in addition to the Lethal Sharp Bright Medical, they'll have a freedom carry holster that they can put on their bodies, either at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock or appendix or whatever, however they want to carry it. I don't care, and have some place to put the gun, because if you give someone just a gun and they're sticking it on a shelf and they keep setting it down, or they put it in their pocket, it's not how you want to do it. That is that. It's not that hard, and the investment is only what, maybe a couple $100. I mean, you can go as high or as low as you want, but what I've got now is I have that, and I don't have to worry about it. It's not my favorite gun. It's not the one that I bust out and show people at, parties and barbecues and look how cool I am. It's a gun that may be ugly, but it works. And in an emergency, I don't care about pretty. I want something that's gonna work. All right, let's go ahead and move on. And in just a moment, we will talk about the main topic of the day.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
All right, how long have we been saying this? Well, it's been a while, but I'm going to remind you, votes without arms are meaningless. In the Examining the Armed Citizen book, I have a copy of the Examining the Armed Citizen book in my hot little hands. I'll hold it up for the webcam there. And there's a quote from someone who looks a lot like me. Let me see if I can find this quote from the person who looks a lot like me. I can't remember which page I put it on. Oh, which page did I put it on, Jared? This is when Jared says
197.
I don't know. Which page did you put it on? But all of you guys out there in the audience, a lot, or maybe not all, but a lot of you folks out there, you said, hey, when the UK, they did the Brexit vote. They voted to get out of the European Union. They realized that being a part of the European Union was destroying their country. It was killing their country. And so the people got pissed off and they're like, hey, we don't want to be in the European Union anymore. And we're going to vote. We're going to have a referendum vote. And we, as the people, are going to vote to leave the European Union. Now they did that. The majority, and oh man, it drove the freaking elitists and the leftists. It drove them nuts. They were freaking out about how terrible it was. Okay, here we go. Here's the quote. It says, being allowed to vote does not make a man free. North Korea allows its people to vote. Saddam Hussein held elections in Iraq. The right to vote is a byproduct of liberty. Man cannot vote for liberty, as liberty must come first. Liberty must first be taken. It is secured and protected by men with arms. To believe otherwise is to be childishly naive. That is a quote from Paul G. Markle from the book Examining the Armed Citizen, the historic struggle between man and the state for control of small arms, available right now. So we have more proof. When did they Brexit vote? Brexit vote was, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and get into the story and we'll see if it says. This is from theindependent.co.uk. Right? Here we go. Independent.co.uk. And the date line is 24 July 2018. All right. Theresa May announces she will keep the UK under EU laws for another 21 votes, risking Brexiter fury. All right. And then the subtitle says the 1972 Act, which took the UK into the common market, will not be repealed until the end of 2020. Not next March, as the Prime Minister had pledged originally. Oh, interesting. But, Jared, Zachary, I thought the people of the UK had spoken. Didn't the people of the UK speak and say, and the majority of them said, no, we want out of the European Union. Being in the European Union is killing our country. It's destroying our country, and we want out.
Yep.
That's what they said, right?
They did.
The will of the people. So Theresa May, the story begins like this. Theresa May has risked the fury of Brexiter MPs, members of parliament, by announcing plans to keep the UK under EU law for another 21 months. Now, I want to go ahead and look right. I'm going to go into a search engine, vote date. I put in the words Brexit vote date, and this is the return. The United Kingdom voted in a referendum to leave the European Union on June 23rd, 2016. So, as I speak these words into this black carbon steel microphone, it has been over 2 years, like 2 years and a month and a half or whatever. All right. So it's been over 2 years since the people voted. And now Theresa May says, what have they been saying this whole time? This whole time they're like, okay, you people, you got out and you voted. And if you recall, just a couple of years ago, the people they were out marching and they had signs and they were really animated about this get us out of the EU thing. Close the borders, get us out of the EU. It's killing our currency. It's killing our it's destroying us. And so they very angrily took to the polls. And the fact that they won was something pretty serious because there was a lot, the ruling class elite and the liberals, basically socialists, the socialists were dead set against this because when you leave the European Union, what that does is it signals that socialism is bad, that the socialist European Union is bad and it doesn't work. And we don't want that. The ruling class socialists, they don't want that. Oh, here we go. Dominic Raab, it's R-A-A-B. I'm sure he pronounces it Raab. The Brexit secretary told MPs, members of parliament, the move was necessary to ensure the statute book functions properly in accordance to the agreement we made with the EU. So they made this dude named Dominic Raab. They put him in charge of Brexiting, of getting out. And he's like, whoa, hang on now. We can't just leave the European Union. It's not that easy. Why? Stop giving them your money and have your own laws and call it good. No. It's necessary to ensure that the books function properly in accordance with the agreement. And this is what they've been saying since 2016. Since June of 2016, the socialists and the ruling class elites in the UK are like, whoa, okay, you guys voted, but it's not going to happen just yet. We're working on a plan. We're thinking about it. We're trying to figure out a way. No, what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out a way to ignore the will of the people and just keep doing what they want. They're stalling and stalling and stalling. The story continues, but it's certain to enrage pro-Brexit members of parliament who had promised the 1972 Act, which took the UK into the common market, would be scrapped by March of 2019. It is certain to provoke protests that the UK has not really left the EU next year and will require amending of the EU Withdrawal Act passed into law last month. So what do we know? Well, we know this. The people of the UK are disarmed tax slaves. They're socialists. They have a socialist government. I don't care, what they have, like socialism light, and then they have socialism hard. There's no non-socialism in the UK. The people got angry, said, "Hey, we have the right, via our constitution and our laws, we have the right to create a memorandum to demand that we leave the European Union." And they did it. And the ruling class socialists were like, "Okay, all right, calm down. We will sometime down the road in the future." Meanwhile, all the problems that that led up to all the troubles and the problems and the 7th century death cult monsters and the parasites and the open borders, all the stuff, and the fact that it's negatively affected their economy and all of that is still going on. All the stuff that they voted to get rid of it's still going on. And they say, well, it's sure to spark protest. But here's the deal. When you have a disarmed populace, when you have a population that's not even allowed to defend itself in its own home, you have people in England that are not allowed to use deadly force to stop a deadly force home invasion. You have people in England who are being charged by the police for racial insensitivity because they confronted home invaders, but they said mean and hurtful things. That's real. It's not a joke. It's not a spoof. People in England are charged with race crimes for offending the criminals who broke into their homes. Yes. And they wonder why, when they go out and Brexit vote, why the government's just like, whatever. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you are a disarmed peasant, if you are a disarmed tax slave, your vote only matters if the government feels like it wants to matter. If the government feels like it doesn't, then off noogies. Too bad. I guess it sucks to be you, because you can't force the change. It's almost like you have to have liberty first before you have voting. It's almost like you can't vote for liberty, folks. You have to secure it. You have to take it by force. You have to take liberty and you have to guard it. And then after liberty has been taken and secured and guarded by men with rifles, then we can calm down, we can order things, and we can vote. But votes without arms are pointless. And we see that again on display in merry old England. But what do I know? All right, I think that's it, boys. Boys, is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right.
I was trying to find the link.
Zachary says yes.
Yep. Jared, how do you
Jared,
feel?
Satellite Studio Boy.
I think that's it. I don't know what else there is to say about it.
Everybody got everything that they came for.
Papa Booey.
If you want to read more wonderful quotes and other things about being an armed citizen and how you have to have arms first, then you can vote, go ahead and pick up the Examining the Armed Citizen book by me. Hey, Shipping Ogre, do we have any signed copies still in stock, or they have to go to Amazon?
I believe we have 10.
Oh, Shipping Ogre says that there are signed copies of Examining the Armed Citizen in stock. So go to studentofthegun.com, click the button that says shop.
Yep.
And go crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cat in the hat, and that be that. It's the end of today's episode. Grad program people, we will talk to you tomorrow. Yep. The rest of you, we will talk to you on next Monday. But if you'd like to be a grad program member, how can they do that, Jared? Where do they go?
Really super simple. Go to getsotg.com, claim your free book and 30 days free of the grad program. If you don't like it after 30 days, we don't want to make you stay there, so you can go ahead and cancel if you'd like. If you do end up liking the grad program, and I know you will because we put a lot of effort into taking care of our members, and if you do like it, then you just stay with us and enjoy the perks. I just saw something from Jared Lojek. He says, I posted the discount code for Black Rifle Coffee. He's like, I think my grad program membership just turned a profit.
There you go. There you go.
You're welcome.
All right, freaks. You're a beginner once, a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
All right, boom.
Got my M&M phone tonight.
Hey, I got a question. What is a good preview for that episode? I was thinking like the last portion of it. I just like to write the times down for Alex so she doesn't have to search through the whole episode. You guys are listening live right now. If you have a good,
probably the Brexit part where they said,
like right at the beginning. Do we have a dedicated time of how long they need to be, or is it just like 2 to 5 minutes?
10 minutes or less.
10 minutes.
10 minutes or less.
Or less. Calm down. Don't have a heart attack.
I was just like, that's like literally like 25% of the episode.
Okay.
I was thinking like 2.
Okay, well then you produce them.
I mean, you don't gotta be a dick, but
10 minutes or less. So anyway, back to the question. What part were you talking about, Dad?
I don't know. I'm talking the show. I'm doing the show.
I know, but the Brexit part? I thought that was like the whole thing, pretty much.
We didn't start Brexit until about 35
minutes or so. So 15, yeah. Okay. Minutes. All right. Cool. All right, guys. I got Ben, Doug, Drew, Eric, Josh, Melissa, Owen, and Ryan. Thank you guys for listening live. Those of you that are watching right now, I can't see who you are, so sorry.